I'm Brianna.
And I'm Elise. We're sisters. And this is Chit-Chat and Cheers.
You get the like sound it makes when you move it. Okay. I don't know what mine's doing. That's fine. Hello and welcome back to Chit Chat and Cheers. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Elise.
Yay! We are here for our next episode. I am starting to lose count of what episode we're on. I think
6.
This is 6? Okay.
I believe so.
Perfect. This is episode 6. Oh, yeah. We got a little bit off of our normal schedule. The holidays are crazy. You know what? We're all just going to give ourselves grace.
I spent Thanksgiving in rural Missouri. There was no Wi-Fi or cell reception or TV. So
you are a brave soul. You were a brave soul.
We had to wear orange. We were afraid we'd get shot. It was great.
Wasn't there like a possum incident or something?
That was last time. There was a giant armadillo that tried to kill me, but mostly it ran away. But I still felt threatened.
Ugh. Yeah. You did that thing. The frost thing you showed me was actually pretty cool.
The frost ribbons, yeah. So I guess it only happens in that part of the country because the air is so cold, but the ground is still warm. And so when, like what would normally be dew, it freezes. But then as more water evaporates, it pushes what's ahead of it up. And so I told the kids, you can't touch that. That's not natural. But it was.
Sorry. That is my alarm to move my elves. Because we have elves now.
Oh, we don't do that. And the girls keep asking. And I said, nope, our family doesn't do that. Sorry.
So the store, we went to see the big guy. And by the time we got there, he was feeding his reindeer and had already left.
Oh, no.
And so obviously we were a little upset. And Nora has been asking for if we could adopt elves because she's been watching the Elf on a Shelf movies on Netflix, and a couple of her friends at school have elves and come to school every day like, our elf did this and we found him here and da 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 da. So she's been asking. So of course they had elves where we were, of course. And so we relented and said, okay, we can adopt them. And of course we had to get 2 because we get a girl and a boy, 1 for each of them. And then I came home and I texted you and I texted Chris's sister, and I was like, oh, we adopted elves, and sent pictures of where they named them. And Lynn just goes, I'm so sorry, welcome to hell.
I agree with her.
So it's fun.
Go ahead.
I'm not doing anything like crazy. Like some people get like really into it and like do all these. I'm just moving them and like hiding them around the house this year, so it's honestly not that much of a lift.
Sloan has a friend. I made a big mistake with elves. And I told her the reason that we didn't need elves is only naughty children need elves. And she shared that with her class. So apparently several of her friends are naughty children.
Whoops.
But she keeps asking. And I said, nope, our family doesn't do that. Like, I am not going to add that to my list of crazy holiday nonsense.
No, absolutely not.
But
that's funny.
Next year I'm going to have elves.
Probably. Our elves are named Winter and Snowflake.
I love it. It's not Kegel the elf.
It is not Kegel the elf. Sadly.
Have you seen oh gosh, it's the show about fantasy football.
Oh, the League?
The League. They have an elf named Kegel.
Nice. Nice. No, the kids named them, and I should have written down what Nora named her Snowflake right away. She's good at it about that kind of stuff. Luke had the most like ridiculous names he wanted to name him, and like basically we ended up having to like steer him to Winter. I don't remember what they were, but they were interesting.
I remember you texting me about this though. I can't remember what they were, but I remember you texting about it.
Yeah.
So
it's wild up in here, that's for sure. I am just surviving. When Christmas is coming fast.
Have you finished Bad Moms Christmas?
No, I haven't. I've started about like halfway through, so I know. Shame on me. Although the part I've seen have been really funny so far.
It's my favorite Christmas tradition: wrapping presents, locking my children out of the room, and watching that movie. They're like how you remember how you and I used to like try to peek under Mom's door to see what she was doing.
Yeah,
and like then she would set presents out. There's like an art to it because you can't just set them out one at a time because then there's people constantly screaming. You have to have enough wrapped that you can set them out and then like make it a rhythm.
Mhm.
But they do that. But I just watch Bad Moms Christmas and drink wine the whole time.
So
It's really
do you slowly build up the presents, like, as you're wrapping them, they put them under the tree?
um I do it over like 2 or 3 days probably. This year, I don't we've gotten more they don't know this, but we've bought more expensive gifts, so I don't have as much, like, volume-wise to put under the
Yeah.
tree, but I wrap a couple, and then I'll set them out, they can take them down, and they have fun taking even, like, John's presents down and, like, Ducky's presents down, and
It is really stressful. Although I feel like I did okay this year. I was done by December 1st, I was done with, like, 90% of my shopping. Just been, like, a couple of stragglers. I've been wrapping a couple of gifts every night. And so at our house, we adopted this from Chris's side because obviously you and I grew up with presents under the tree leading up to Christmas. Nothing is under the tree until Christmas morning. Like Santa,
I
mom and
feel like
dad,
Luke would not
your
be able to handle presents under the tree, and, like, that's kind of like God's way of telling you, like, "This is the best thing for your
this is
family."
this is the best for
And my
you.
girls
You
are,
do
like, touching the ones that are they're like, "Oh, that's pretty. Look at the wrapping on that one." Like, they don't
yeah,
even
Luke
shake it because 'cause they're afraid they're gonna break something.
Luke would be walking on top of them to like dinosaur stomp on top of them. We got him so we went to so we missed Santa the first time. We went to a different Santa this past weekend, and as part of that, there's also a Grinch running around. Someone dressed up as the Grinch, and Luke was terrified of him, which is funny because he loves the Grinch movie, like the newest one with Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch, like the animated one. Have you seen that one?
Mm-mm. I've seen
Oh,
well,
it's really good.
the 3D animated one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one, the girls love it. Yeah.
yeah. So he loves that movie. Watches it year round. But he was absolutely terrified of the guy that was dressed up as the Grinch. Like, he would not go near him. He hid behind me when he came around. He was always had his head on a swivel. He was, like, clocking him wherever he was. It's like, "Where's the Grinch?" And so afterwards, we went across the street to, like, a little toy store, like a very, like, boutique-y toy store. And even in there, he was, like, looking out the window, like, "Where's the Grinch?" Because he would, like, walk around outside. But he got this game. It was like I think it was called like the Pancake Monster or something like that. Like we let them pick out a gift because we like to support small businesses.
Right.
And it's like this. How do we even describe it? It's like a fabric tube that's on kind of like almost like a spring is around in the inside of it. So like when it's like you just let it go, it's like fully uncoiled. But you kind of like compress it down, and then you take turns putting little pancake discs inside the monster's mouth and pressing a button, and eventually it like undoes the coil and it like chomps up at you, and then that you like lose that round if you get chomped. But he played that for hours afterwards. Like that's all he wanted to do. And that was second only to trying to stomp on the box and destroy the box so that we could not put the game back in the box. So
Well, then he
that's
couldn't
a
play it.
very long story to tell you that my child likes to destroy things.
I love it.
Anything new with you?
I passed my CRR in today, so I'm a
Woo!
doctor educated master's family nurse practitioner, and I'm now the chief nursing officer of a rehab hospital. And so, as a leader, I had to become certified as a rehab nurse, and I passed on my first attempt. It was great.
Yay!
Much,
Congrats! I
much,
think
much
that
angst
deserves
went
a
into
cheers.
it. What are you
That deserves a
drinking?
cheers. Cheers!
Cheers,
Chink!
chink. What are you
So,
drinking?
so I am drinking a rum Rudolph instead of run Rudolph. So for Christmas Eve this year, we're doing I feel like it's all over like social media. It's like the trend now, which I didn't hear for, but like little Christmas party games. Have you seen like videos about that?
Like the toilet
Like
paper with the yarn in it, and you pull, and it's a ribbon, and it matches the
yeah.
stuffing. Yeah.
So we in the past have done like White Elephant and stuff at Chris's family's Christmas Eve party, but this year we're just gonna do like party games.
Uh huh.
And so we're doing party games, and then you also have to bring a cocktail. So I chose this one, so I wanted to test it out to make sure I liked it. But I mean, it's rum, grenadine, and cranberry like juice. So it's really
Mm,
easy. But I got glass ornaments that I'm gonna make a big batch of the
yeah.
cocktail, and then I'm gonna pour up the it all into the glass ornament balls, and then people can dump the ornament upside down to their drink to let it pour out. So that's how I'm like
Cool.
serving the cocktail.
I love that.
And I got edible glitter to put into it too, so it'll be like all sparkly.
Ooh.
This
I
one is not.
everybody so I've never worked someplace where it's like expected that we give each other gifts. And I wouldn't say that it's like expected, but it's very much the culture that everyone at my off like the C-suite gives people gifts. And
Mhm.
so every week for piano, John and I go to this little Italian place, and the gentleman who is the manager develops like he makes their own limoncello, and he'll experiment with other
Ooh.
stuff. And so he made a cranberry cello for Christmas, and he sold me an entire bottle of it, and then a half bottle of this rosemary simple syrup. And then he wrote out like what their like secret Santa cocktail is. And so I bought little glass bottles, and I'm gonna give everybody the stuff they need to make this cocktail for Christmas.
That is a genius idea, and if you were looking for a gift for me, that would be lovely. Not that we don't give
I have
yeah,
to
we
go
don't
buy a whole
exchange
bunch
gifts,
of
but
little Prosecco's though. I'm like, John, sorry, it's a really expensive office gift, but but
it's
he
fine.
gave us so the cello was expensive, but he said he's like, you come all the time. If you buy a gift card for $100, I'll give you the cello for like normally he sells it for like 140, and he gave it to me for like 100, and then the simple syrup for free. So and he's
Nice.
like,
I mean,
and
you
I
go
told him
there
I had a rosemary plant out front, and he's like, if you bring that plant in, I will comp you. Apparently, he's running out of rosemary.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm there every week though.
No, you're regular.
I am, but I only ever go during happy hour, and it's super expensive if you don't go during happy hour. And so the last 2 weeks, we've had to change our lessons up, and we've been there during dinner time. We will not continue to do that. My biggest thing too, though, is like what my kids asked for are the fur real friends, which are like these animatronic
Like a Furby?
stuffies. I don't know, like they're not a Furby, but they're like one of them's like a leopard, and it growls, and it like will walk. And they asked for these, but they asked for very specific ones. And one of them that I had to order for Sloan, they don't sell anymore. So I like it's like $400 online. I was like, I'm not paying that
You didn't
for.
get that, did you?
No, I found it
Okay.
used on like
Okay. I was gonna judge you.
Poshmark for like $60,
I was
which
gonna
is
judge you
still
hard.
way more than I should pay for it. And I don't even know if it works. I haven't tried it. But like that's what they want. And I'm like, but we're getting you switches, and we're getting you bikes because your dad wants to be able to take you bike riding. And I want you to not be
I want you to leave me
obnoxious
alone.
on an 8 hour flight. Like, these expensive gifts are for me.
It's called self-care. Look it up.
Yes. I also want a massage. So
Ooh, I would love a massage as well. Should we get crack-a-lackin' here?
yes, let's do it.
All right.
Wait, first off, hold on, let me refill because I've already been drinking.
What are you drinking? I didn't even ask you. We got
Oops, I
distracted.
missed. I am drinking.
Oops, I missed.
I am drinking my usual. I don't.
As I was saying
Yes, I don't.
before, I so rudely interrupted myself. This is an incredibly strong drink. I was trying to follow the recipe, and I was like, I'll just eyeball it. And I'm pretty sure methinks I don't know how to eyeball
Methinks
ounces.
I don't know how to eyeball.
Whoops! Pretty sure it was 2 ounces
Or
of
as Veronica and Kevin would say, whoopsie poopsie.
whoopsie. Pretty sure it was 2 ounces of rum, and I think I filled up half a glass. So here we are.
Well, you look great. That's all that matters. If you start having one eyeball, do this. I'll say, did you have a stroke or are you falling asleep?
What's happening here? Okay, so anyway, back to the topic at hand. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
So
Christmas.
this is December 16th that we're recording this. So by the time this is out, it'll probably be closer-ish to Christmas. I don't know. It depends if I get this uploaded or not. Maybe it's
Your
a little late.
eyebrows
Who
look
cares?
fabulous, by the way.
Hey, thanks. Oh, there's a ambulance outside. So we are just out here doing our best with Christmas, and we decided, hey, we don't have the bandwidth right now to do a bunch of research. So what we have for you today is
Do I ever?
would you you research? You're very important, and you were very busy during the day.
You make me
S-
feel validated. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
So we're just talking about Christmas traditions. You know, we've already talked a little bit about ours at the top of the show, as they say. And so I have a an article here from Travel and Leisure: 12 unique Christmas traditions celebrated around the world. So Elise has not read any of these. I'm going to read them to her, and then we're just gonna, just have a chat,
And discuss.
discuss. So why don't we jump right in? We're gonna start with one that I feel like most people know. Did you see the movie Red One that recently
Not
came out?
yet. That's on our to-do list when mom and dad are here to watch the kids over Christmas vacation.
Oh my gosh, we saw it in theaters. It's actually it's streaming now, so you can watch it
Oh, maybe
streaming.
we'll watch it. Maybe we'll watch it like at home then.
I don't know if it's Netflix or Prime, but that was their whole strategy. They released it early, like in November, so it could be streaming by mid-December.
It
Um,
looks so, and I'm allowed to leave my husband for The Rock, so
oh, was The Rock your hall pass?
I love you, Dwayne. Dwayne, call me.
Call me Dwayne. That's funny. So this first one is Krampus. So Saint Nick's
Terrifying.
devil. Yes, right. So Saint Nick's devil-like counterpart, Krampus, celebrated throughout Germany, Austria, Slovenia, and Hungary, has one task: punish bad children before the feast of Saint Nicholas on December 6th. Picture a frightening half-goat demon figure, often seen with fur or horns. Instead of carrying a bag full of toys, he has a basket or sack for abducting especially naughty children and hauling them back to hell.
As
So
one does.
pleasant. As one does. Could you imagine growing up in an environment where you thought a demon goat guy was going to come drag you to hell if you were
I mean,
bad?
John tells me our children are soft, but I think that's a bit extra.
Right? And I've seen other things where it's like, oh, he beats them with a switch and like
I've just seen
just
the like the cartoons of him, and I'm like, I'm terrified as a grown woman. Like if that
I
thing
know,
found me in the
right?
middle of the night, I would scream.
And I guess they have like in those countries they have like parades and stuff where people will dress up like Krampus and they'll like run around the town and like just like terrorize people.
Sounds like
It's
the
like
one day it's like Halloween, only not.
it's like a Halloween and Running of the Bulls mixed together.
Mm, not my thing.
Not my
Although
thing.
Mimi did send me these elf things, and they're not like the cute little elf on the shelf things. They're like Krampus elves, and I've hidden
I
them.
remember those.
Yeah,
Do you have them still?
I'm sure I do. I had to not get them out this year because they
You
terrify
need it.
me.
You need to find them and send me a picture. Those things were actually like truly terrifying, like
Like,
something out of a nightmare.
I think there were like 4 of them too. I was like, why? She's like, aren't they cute? And I was like, what's wrong with you?
Not really, you crazy lady. No, but I mentioned Red One because Krampus plays a like a supporting role in that movie,
Uh-huh.
and his character's actually really funny.
Yeah. No, I really want to see it. It's definitely on my. But
Yeah.
the next night was my office party for the clinic I work at, and last year it got a little crazy. Like there were people like twerking on the dance floor, and I was like,
Oh my.
not real sure this is my jam. But this year they had games, and so they played the 12 Days of Christmas game, and they divided everybody up into 6 groups, and group 1 only had to go once, but everybody else had to go twice, and they had to
Mhm.
act out each of the different 12 Days of Christmas. And I made the mistake of wearing this like super sparkly dress, and they were like, "We're the partridge, you're the partridge, we're the tree." And so every time they came back to us, all these people would pull away, and I had to come up with a dance move. By the end, John, at the end, I was like, "John, I don't have any more dance moves." He goes, "Honey, just do sports." And so the last one I did, I went golfing. It was great. So, but now I'm
I love
officially
it.
known as the partridge, and I'm like,
The
oh,
partridge.
not
That's
really.
a kind of a badass nickname though. The partridge.
Partridge. She's the
It
partridge.
kind of sounds like an assassin or something.
I might kill you.
I might
Take
kill
my
you. I
prescription.
might kill you. I might sparkle. Who knows?
Who knows?
Um, and I love
Sorry,
that you had
back
to
to
do it.
Krampus.
Of course, you were like in every round. If you're the first one, you get to do
At
every
one point,
single
I was
round.
just like, jazz hands. And they were like, that's not good enough. And I was like, then give me an idea. I'm out of ideas.
Did you do the lawnmower?
I did, actually. Didn't make it to the sprinkler, though.
Oh, classic.
But
That seems like a
the
wasted
problem was
opportunity.
the dress was really short, and so I had to be really careful that I didn't like show everybody butt cheek while I was doing
Nice.
whatever I did.
It's classy. Super
So, I
classy.
try. I got home and I told mom, and she was just like, "Okay." I flew my mom
Also,
out. It was cheaper to fly my mom out to watch the kids for all these holiday parties than it was to pay a babysitter.
I was
So
gonna say, I love that you did the math, and it was like, it's gonna be less expensive for me just to fly my mom out than pay babysitters. So that's what we're gonna do.
and she did the
God bless
laundry
our
and
mother.
yeah, she did the laundry and the dishes. I don't no complaints here. 10 stars.
10 stars. Would recommend again. Would book again.
Yes.
That's funny.
So anyway,
All
what's
right.
tradition number 2?
This comes to us from Wales, and I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, so sorry. Mari Loud, Mari Loud, Loud.
Loud.
In Wales, horses and horses and Christmas go perfectly well together. In Welsh, Mari Loud translates to grey mare and involves carting a horse, either a horse figure, like using a skull, so it's essentially a horse skeleton, or someone dressed as one, door to door, accompanied by a group of townspeople. While its exact origin is unknown, it's more of a winter pastime than a Christmas one. This tradition dates back hundreds of years. It kicks off with the traditional Welsh song and a petition to enter the home for music and merriment. The ritual can also include a rhyming contest, so a rap battle is what I'm reading,
Heck yeah.
between the troop and the home's residents, right? So picture this: you're hanging out Christmas Eve, knock on the door. Who is that?
Horse skeleton.
Open the door. It's a horse skeleton in your face. Let
And
me
then
come
he
in.
starts rapping. Boom, let me come in, or I will be offended.
That doesn't rhyme at all.
I'm not Beyonce, okay? Or Jay-Z, although he's in trouble now, I hear.
That's what I heard too. I am over here, like, you know that meme of like eating the popcorn and like looking back and forth. I think it's oh gosh, who was the comedian from SNL? Dan something, I think his name is. I can't remember now. But he's like, that's me with all of this like not Kanye, but Diddy nonsense.
My two good best friends at work, Laura and Danielle, both are very much they're Laura's 5 years younger than I am, and Danielle's probably 6 or 7. But like, they like listen to like rap and hip hop, and they're like, "Oh, listen to this song," and I'm like, "This sounds like they're yelling. I don't know."
Sounds like they're really angry.
Yes.
Can we just go back to
One
cups?
of them we were listening to, and I said, "Oh my!" in the back seat, and they both just started laughing.
Were you clutching your pearls?
If I wore them, I would have.
Oh my!
I was just like, "You're allowed to
Alrighty.
say that in real life."
What?
Although this,
I'm gonna skip.
what's Lamarck what's his name? The guy who got in a fight with Drake.
Lamarck? Oh, Kendrick Lamar?
That guy. I listened to his video. He is very intelligent and he is very articulate. I don't appreciate his use of all the words that he used. However, it was a very well done song.
You know what the song was?
The one that got him and them in a fight.
I think you'll have to be more specific than
The
that.
one about a minor.
Kendrick Lamar's gonna reference you for his next track.
I don't think so. But if you do, hashtag ChitChatCheers.
Hashtag ChitChatCheers. Okay, I'm gonna skip around a little bit because some of these are dumb, and I don't want to talk about them.
I don't
So
want a
this might be-
skeleton entering my house on Christmas Eve.
I don't either, but I feel like that's giving. Was it Christmas Carol? What's the one with Scrooge?
Yeah, A Christmas Carol. Although, you know what?
Christmas
It
Carol?
could be cool if it was a gray horse entering my home. Oh, look, I got you a pony.
That feels more like the Neverending Story.
I remember that. I remember I used to watch that at Beach Tree all the time.
The movie freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That giant white dragon does me too.
I don't like his back was like had like bubbles on it. I didn't like that. I don't.
The way he moved was not normal.
Yeah, it's kind of not a great movie for children as I'm thinking about it. Because like, what, the horse dies, gets stuck in quicksand, dies. I just remember there's that one scene with like the half naked lady statues that like shoot lasers out of their eyes.
Are you sure you're not confusing this with the second Wizard of Oz? Remember that one with the women had the heads?
I do. Return to Oz. Yes, I do, and that is a core memory of my childhood. Anyone who's not this is on topic for Wicked that's come out. Anyone who's never seen I think it might have been a made for TV movie that was the sequel to Wizard of Oz that came out in maybe the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Well,
Called
Dorothy was crazy and they were like putting her in an asylum and
yes, it's called Return to Oz. You need to go watch this unhinged movie. It's fantastic. I just spit on my mic. That's lovely.
I heard you go
like
boom.
yeah, literally at the beginning of the movie, they're putting Dorothy into an insane asylum to do shock therapy on her. And she escapes into like
A
a
river.
river, right? And then goes back to Oz, and like everything is messed up. There she befriends like a chicken and a robot that's kind of like a mixture between R2D2 and um gosh, I don't even know who else it would be a mixture of. And there's someone else too, isn't there?
I don't know. So The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time. And so this movie didn't love it. And then there's a book series that I read. It was like a young adult series, and it was I don't remember. I'll have to look up the name of the books. We can put it in the links below. But the first one was really well done. The second one, I was like, I'm really lost. And the third one, I was like, wow. But
Aw.
wow. But I love the idea of the Wizard of Oz. So, but yes,
What do you mean?
I love the idea that like you can go someplace so magical but still have like a sense of home and purpose, that like despite all these amazing and crazy things you're seeing, you still want to get home, and when you get home, it's what you wanted it to be. Like because when she returns home, she's like, you were there. Oh, but I'm so glad to be home. And like, and at the end of the original Wizard of Oz, she like falls back into her normal routine. And I feel like that's part of why I didn't care for Return to Oz, because it was like it was much darker. It was a much harder movie to get through, but it also was like in the original Wizard of Oz, they kind of made Dorothy seem well adjusted and be able to say, like, oh, I had these dreams, or I thought these things, and they could be true. And I feel like I left the sense of her being like, oh, like I'm going to learn things from this, but it's not going to control my life. And the second one was very much like, oh no, like she clearly has never been able to recover from that.
Oh, I loved the Return to Oz. Like it was unhinged, but I I would
I
go
thought
watch it
it was a
again.
good movie, but it was definitely doesn't ping on my radar of like, a pair of shoes can change your life, okay?
I
Like,
think maybe I just trauma bonded to it.
it's fine.
There's the scene where the villain in the movie literally collects heads and she takes her head off. And I'm seeing this as what, like a 6-year-old maybe? And like puts it on a pedestal. But the CGI they used, it was like actual human like moving heads. It was
And
intense.
remember, she had the whole like corridor of
Yeah, it was like
heads. But
an
she couldn't
intense.
remember anything unless she put that head on. So like that was part of it. Like unless she put the head on, they remembered what they were all afraid of. They were safe.
Yes.
It's
It
crazy.
was you guys just need to go watch it and have the fever dream that we experienced on the reg
Oh, you.
as children.
I bought the BFG, or I didn't buy it. I rented the BFG, the original one from the
The animated one?
library. Yeah. And I was like, girls, we have to watch this. And they're like, no, we don't want to. I was like, no, you don't understand.
You don't understand.
We have to watch this. But they don't want to. I tried to make them watch He-Man and She-Ra, and they're like had no interest in it. And I'm like, these films made me who I am.
Ricky Tikki Tikki, remember watching that?
That poor ferret.
It wasn't a ferret, was it? It was a mongoose.
Whatever, ferret, mongoose, some sort of rodent.
You
It
say
attacks snakes.
ferret, I say mongoose.
The kids they made these like paper dragons, and I threw them away because like they've been just like sitting in a drawer for months. And I went to go throw something else away, and one of them moved, and I swear to God, I thought it was a mouse, and I was like, and the poor dog came, Ducky was like, and then she was just like, "You're an idiot."
That is paper. You are dumb.
But anytime
That's
that
funny.
front door unlocks, she gives it hell. Doesn't
Get
matter
him,
if you're
Dougie.
coming or going. John
Get
unlocked
him,
it today
Ducky.
to get the mail. She was like, "Brrr." It was like, it's literally your dad leaving.
It's fine. You literally just saw him walk to the door.
So, anyway, moving
All right,
on.
moving on. Next tradition comes from Japan, and I actually knew about this one because I studied abroad in Japan and can attest to this. They love Kentucky Fried Chicken over there. So, for millions of people in Japan, a traditional holiday dinner means a bucket of KFC. While Christmas itself isn't really a religious holiday since most of the people do not identify as Christian, it's still a fun secular celebration. The offbeat custom is the legacy of a 1974 marketing campaign where the fast food chain touted fried chicken as a traditional American Yuletide feast.
Okay.
Even today, in the weeks leading up to the holiday, Colonel Sanders statues outside KFC outposts all over Japan wear Santa gear, and you have to order the meal weeks in advance.
I love
Which
this.
I can attest to this. So they are very popular KFCs. Also, so where I was, there was a oh gosh, what was it? It's like I think it was like a Denny's situation. Like it was either an IHOP or a
Denny's
Denny's. I
is
don't
always
remember.
a situation. Just saying.
It's the Denny's is always a situation. But I was there and I was just like kind of homesick. I was really craving just like American food, like a little bit of home. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Denny's and get like a Grand Slam or whatever. I go in there. It was a 3-hour wait to get seated. It was
At Denny's?
wild.
That
Yeah,
poor waitress, because there's always only one.
I know. So like they're like the like American like casual dining, I guess you would call it, is very popular over there. But so yeah,
I
KFC is
I
the
need to
traditional
relocate.
Christmas feast.
We took the kids, we went to it's called Grapevine Mills, and it's not exactly an outlet mall, but like most of the stores there are outlets, but it's indoors and there's like an escape room and like an aquarium and the Legoland is all in this like same mall. And we went um I was supposed to work Saturday and I showed up to work and they're like, "Oh, we don't have you on the schedule." And I was like, "Oh, great." Because mom was here. And so we all went and like about an hour in, I was like, this was a terrible idea. It is 2 weeks before Christmas and this place is insane. Let's get lunch and go home. And so we went to
I
Chili's.
immediately regret my decision.
Yeah. We went to Chili's and Sloan wouldn't eat. And she's usually my good eater. It's like, I was like, what's wrong? She's like, my tummy doesn't feel good. I was like, let's
Uh-oh.
go to the bathroom. So like we spent like 20 minutes in the bathroom and then we come back and she ate all of her mac and cheese. And then Blair had to go to the bathroom. Like what should have been a 42-minute dining experience extended itself into an hour and a half. And mom and I each had half a salad. I was just like, this is ridiculous.
This is awful. My daughter has, by the way, adopted I don't remember if you said it was Sloan or Blair. I think maybe Sloan.
Poops in
Uh
public?
yep.
Yep,
Anytime
Sloan.
we go somewhere public has to poop.
Yep. Can't
Like
do it at home. Occasionally does it at home. Let's say that. In public,
Nora
has to happen.
Nora will poop at home, but she loves a good public restroom. That
Ugh.
girl. Oh man. All right. Next. It comes from Ukraine. Spiderweb decorations.
On Christmas? This is not
Hmm.
Halloween. Are you sure
I
you looked
know.
up the correct holiday?
And this is giving Night Before Christmas. I love it. Says this tradition goes back to a folk tale in which spiders decorated the tree of a family that was too poor to pay for proper Yuletide ornaments. When they woke up on Christmas morning, the webs that had been woven overnight turned silver and gold. Nowadays, Ukrainian Christmas trees feature spider webs made from various materials such as crystal, paper, metal, and plastic. That's kind of cool.
I like
It's like
that.
kind of like Cinderella-y. Like they couldn't afford Christmas decorations, and so the spiders came out and like spun them a bunch of decorations for their tree.
Yeah, I love that. I'm looking this up online right now.
What would you rather have? Spiders come and make you Christmas decorations, or little mousies make you a dress you have to wear?
I mean, I do love a good Cinderella story, however. I mean, what I'm finding is not that, but I just think of like how fine a spider web is, and if that was made out of silver and gold, it would look like tinsel everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet.
It'd be really pretty.
When
But
we go up to the
I
lake
do
house,
love a good Jack and Gus story.
it's true. When we go up to the lake, sorry, can you hear me chewing ice? I should stop doing that.
I can hear it, but I don't mind.
That's annoying.
Listeners,
Oh.
if you mind, sorry.
ASMR.
Still
I'll
subscribe.
I'll delete myself. Or delete myself.
Don't
I'll mute
delete
myself.
yourself. You are not canceled.
I'll delete myself. I'll mute myself. When we go up to the lake house during the summer, Chris and I will go sit on the porch like around like sunset, and there's just tons of spiders up there. It's like it used to really bother me, but I've just kind of gotten used to it. But you can sit on the porch and watch them just like make their little webs in the railings of the porch to catch bugs during the evening. It's actually really cool to watch them make the webs.
I've never seen that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Fine. I'll come to the lake. It's fine.
Fun. We would love to have you. That would be a long trip
That would
for
be like
like
a come to Indiana for a couple of days, go to Chicago for a couple of days, go to the lake for a couple of days, back to Chicago for a couple of days, back to Indiana.
yeah,
When I'm
because it's
independently
like
wealthy
exactly,
and I
right?
don't have to work.
It's 4 hours from Indy, I think, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
How far is
It's
it
a little
from
bit
your
of a haul.
house?
Like 2,
Yeah.
depending on traffic. 2 the worst it's ever been, it took me 4 hours to get home one time from the lake, and of course, this time I had the kids by myself, Chris wasn't with me. Luke got car sick and vomited all over himself, and the traffic was just, like,
Par for the
awful,
course.
so, yeah, it seems about right. So
As
that was
it
a fun trip.
goes.
As it goes. Alright, next. La Befana. Let's try that. La Befana.
La Befana.
All of our Italian fans are screaming into the void right now. All right, similar to Santa Claus, this Italian tradition stars an old witch named La Befana who flies around on her broomstick and brings good children treats or coals for bad ones on Epiphany Eve. The roots of this legend can be traced back to pre-Roman times when similar mythical flying women were associated with the harvest, but because connected to the story of the three wise men visiting baby Jesus. Oh, but became. I was like, that doesn't make sense. But became connected to the story of the three wise men visiting baby Jesus. The legend is celebrated on January 6th with events across the country, including the Regatta della Befana in Venice, a boat race featuring costumed gondoliers.
One, so many of these traditions seem to bring together Halloween for us in America and Christmas, which I think is really interesting. And
I think
also
it's like taking pagan holidays and like trying to enfold them into
Christian holidays.
Christian holidays.
Yeah. And then I would also say that I also would chase small children that were naughty on a broomstick, given the opportunity. So
Right? La Befana seems like she's got it going on.
that's right.
I don't know if you can see a picture of her. That's someone dressed up like her.
Ah,
She's got like a big like nose and like
she
a
needs a
cape.
nose job, but other than that, I think she's great. You got it going, La Befana. We've got you. I have a great plastic surgeon. I haven't used him yet, but I will.
Have you heard of this plastic surgeon that's like doing all the stars right now? Like he or she, who I don't know who she is, just did like Lindsay Lohan. Have you seen pictures of Lindsay Lohan
Mm-mm.
recently? So she was really cute when she was younger, right? And then she went through a phase where it looked like she'd been hit by like a Mack truck. Like she just
She
looked
did
god awful.
heroin or whatever.
Yeah. She recently, whatever work she's had done, she doesn't look like the same person at all. She looks like a completely different person, but she looks great. Like whatever plastic surgeon got a hold of her has done a fantastic job.
Good for you, sir or ma'am. You have
Yes.
earned back your medical degree.
Was it in jeopardy?
Hey, who knows in Hollywood?
That's true. So I don't know who or what is responsible for that, but good on you.
Irresponsible or responsible?
Responsible.
Noted.
No, she looks great. All right. Next we have Yule Lads. I feel like these are maybe my favorite thing I've read in a while. Yule Lads. The Yule Lads are one of several Icelandic Christmas traditions rooted in folklore. During the 13 days leading up to Christmas, little ones put their shoes out each night, and in the morning, they find small presents from these 13 mountain trolls. They've been good. Or
I'm going to use that as a nickname for my kids. All right, you mountain trolls.
So, they put small presents from these 13 mountain trolls if they've been good, or a potato if they've been bad.
But you bake it, you add a little butter and salt.
Let's say that feels like a win-win to me. Presents or a potato? Yes,
They
please.
must have talked about this at the kids' school because they came home one night like, Mom, we have to put our shoes out. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
Well, that's for St. Nicholas Day. So
Yeah.
that was on December 6th. So
And
that one is you put
terrible
your
mother
shoes
and I
out.
was like, that's great. And then we didn't do it.
We don't do it here, but they did it at Nora's school. So they like drew pictures of shoes, and then they had their teacher came and like put little, I think they were like chocolate coins on their desk where their shoes were. So that is a thing.
I feel like they did it in pre-K. That happened in pre-K, but they came home this year and like, we have to leave our shoes out. And I was like, okay. And then we forgot.
But why?
Nothing.
Oh, they probably woke up and were so disappointed that there wasn't anything in their shoes.
But no, they didn't actually. We forgot to even leave the shoes out. I'm saying
Oh,
I told them we could, then we didn't. I'm also that mom who, like, someone loses a tooth right before bed, and they're like, "Mom, I lost a tooth," and then the next morning, they're like, "Oh, the tooth fairy didn't come." I'm like, and so I like, "Yes, she did. Did you check really well?" And, and they find quarters. Oh, that I took out of
Nora
their
hasn't lost a tooth yet, and
that I
I what is
take
the
their
going
quarters
rate?
out of their own piggy bank. That's the only way to survive. Mom win.
Mom win. What do you pay? Just a quarter? Is that what you pay them?
We do 4 quarters. Some people leave like $20, but like
That is crazy to me.
yeah. So we always leave it in a special bag. Like I bought a bunch of these like Gosmere bags and I'll like decorate them. One time I got real creative and tried to burn it and that didn't go well. So we had to,
Why?
I'll explain. But every bag also gets a letter from Mort, the tooth fairy, because we have a book where Mort is the tooth fairy. She also has an apprentice that I have invented named Tina, who is not so good at her job. So whenever we mess up with Tooth Fairy Night, clearly Tina was in charge. So the time I tried to
Go home, Tina, you're drunk.
so the time I tried to singe this like polyester bag and it like burned, Tina left a note saying she flew through the Sahara. So
I mean, that's pretty creative, actually.
I
I'm gonna have to adopt Tina for when I unavoidably
I'm gonna send
mess
you the
up.
book so when she loses her first tooth, you can read it because more basically the book is really sweet. It's about this fairy Mort who flies all over the world, and when you lose a tooth, she's looking for the perfect present, and it kind of leaves an opening for parents because it's like, oh, if I couldn't find the perfect present, I had to keep looking. But
Mhm.
it's like you have to leave her a snack like blueberries. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like Santa all over. So, but we leave a snack and then Mort comes and Tina's her assistant. So, in my mind, Tina is essentially Tina from Bluey, but that's fine. I'm sorry, Tina.
Oh man. Back to the Yule lads. I just like that they're called lads.
This is going to be a hard episode for you to edit, by the way.
It's fine. Another seasonal character, the Yule cat, has been depicted as the lad's pet since the last century. The legendary creature has been rumored to eat naughty, lazy children who don't receive new clothes for Christmas, as is common reward for a well-behaved child who does their chores. So if you don't get new pants, you're getting eaten by the Yule cat.
I'm going to have to go buy clothes for my children.
Those poor
They
families
might get
who can't
eaten.
afford. Like, I'm thinking like a century ago, those families who can't afford new clothes, they're like, well,
You're
guess you guys are
getting
getting
eaten
eaten.
by a giant cat. Sorry. Stay awake all night.
I don't know what to tell you. I've got one pair of pants and there's 4 of you, so I
Survival
gotta
of the
pick my favorite.
fittest.
I'll pick my favorite. You guys battle for it.
And go.
And go. Let's see here. Well, we're gonna skip that one. I don't feel like talking about that one. Oh, how about the Night of the Radishes in Mexico?
Who doesn't love a good radish? Me. I don't.
Right? You don't like radishes? Oh, I don't mind a radish in a salad.
It's
December
spicy.
23rd
Clears your sinuses.
marks That's true. December 23rd marks the Night of the Radishes in Mexico, a celebration of oversized radishes, which are carved into intricate displays. The annual Christmas market event began in 1897 when vendors carved radishes with detailed designs to attract customers, and a contest is held to honor the most creative figures. The tradition continues today.
It still feels like what we do as Halloween with pumpkins, though.
Where are all these international Christmas celebrations? Well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did Halloween steal from the Night of the Radishes?
Most likely.
Or did the Night of Radishes steal from Halloween?
Um,
When did Halloween start?
I mean,
When did
All Hallows Eve. I don't know about pumpkins. While
me
you
look this
read
up.
the next one, I will look up this.
Okay, you look up that. I'll read the last one. This is the last one. This is gonna be a shorter episode for once. People and everyone around the globe says thank God. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just gonna say the Gavel. The Gavel goat in Sweden. It's a giant goat. Some say this tradition goes back to Swedish legends about Christmas elves riding the Yule goat door to door to deliver presents, similar to Santa Claus. In 1966, the town of Gavel constructed an epic version of the Yule goat, a wood rope and straw, to promote local tourism. To this day, the structure, roughly the size of a 3-story house, goes up on the first day of Advent each year. Strangely enough, there's also an unofficial tradition of citizens who try to destroy the goat. Despite ever heightened security, it's frequently sabotaged. Locals will bet on whether or not it'll make it through the whole season. I saw a video. Apparently, people try to light it on fire all the time. It's like
Oh
this huge
dear.
goat. Let me see this picture. So
Oh
it's like
my.
the size of a 3-story house. People will just like casually stroll by and try to light it on fire.
As one does.
I love. So yeah, so that's the end of the article. So those are just some traditions around the world, Christmas traditions.
So what
Peop-
I'm finding is that it says pumpkins became popular in the 19th century. And then I said, did carving radishes or pumpkins come first? And it said turnips came first. So
Well, fuck you.
do with that information what you will, people. Google
Just a
done
big
me
ol'
dirty.
fuck you.
My guess is like you said, it's a lot of pagan holidays that over the centuries kind of came together and
Mhm.
have convalesced or no, wait, convalescing is like vacation only when you're sick.
Condensed?
Yeah, have been condensed into different things. And like pieces and parts of that have been maintained at different times of the year. And so
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
interesting.
So that's interesting. So maybe we can just wrap up with kind of talking about a few of Christmas traditions that we do with our families.
Yeah.
Do you have any you
Let's
wanna go
start
first?
with us when we were growing up, and then you talk about your family, and I'll talk about mine.
Okay, perfect. So for us, it's kind of some of the ones that come to mind. We always used to do oh gosh, what is it called? Fondue. Mom would
Yes.
do a big fondue dinner, which is funny because then the house absolutely reeked for like days
Days of
afterwards of
oil.
oil. But we would get depending on how many people we had, 1 or 2 fondue pots out. Everyone had their own stick, and we had to do a fondue, cook your own dinner.
She
It was
always made
Christmas
that
Eve,
like the
right?
sliced Italian bread that was so delicious. And once like she had been to melting pot, she would do like a cheese one and vegetables and
Yeah,
it
it's
got
true.
more elaborate as the years went on.
She got fancy. I think one year we even did a chocolate one, didn't we?
Probably, yeah, I think so. But
But that's she gave me a fondue set for when I got married. I think she gave one too, didn't she?
I have one, yeah.
So nutrition. We haven't used it on Christmas Eve because we do a tradition with Chris's side of they have like a big party Christmas Eve. But that was definitely something I remember from growing up. And then we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. But Mom would always be in her room wrapping presents, and we would I don't know what we thought we were gonna do, like sneak listen through the door. So you would be on all fours, the bottom of the door trying to look through the crack, and I would be standing on top of your back, like listening through the door, trying to figure
Yes.
out like what she was wrapping.
And she was so sneaky. Do you remember the year like when we came out in the age when we grew up on VHS, but DVDs came out when we were there, and
Hmm.
she had wrapped DVDs, and you were like,
She'd bought a
"Eh."
DVD, our first DVD player.
But you had found you're like, Elise, these are DVDs, and then she rewrapped it in the same wrapping paper, and it was books.
Yeah,
So she got it that night, and she was like sneaky.
she totally tricked us. And I still remember too the year that Dad videotaped himself. Do you remember that?
A Santa.
Yeah.
If you
So
have children
like
under the age of 10, don't let them listen to this.
yes. So
Maybe 15, depending on your child.
that's another discussion. That's another issue. We were just right at the age where we kind of were starting to question whether or not Santa was real, and our dad set up a video camera, rented a Santa suit, and videotaped himself putting presents out.
The
And
Cupcake Girls.
yeah, they smelled so good. Oh my
And
gosh,
they
do you remember
they like folded up into the cupcake. Those are perfect.
that? Honestly, that toy slapped. That toy should come back. Nora would love that toy.
Well, it's like the but it's like the Polly Pockets now. They're not as good.
They're not as good, no.
No, my kids are like,
Um,
"Meh." And I'm like, "I loved a good Polly Pocket at
I
Easter."
know, right? But, so our dad videotaped himself setting presents out, and the next morning was like, "Girls, girls, I accidentally left the video camera on all night, and I caught Santa on tape." And so, obviously played the tape for us, and then
We're
were
like
we believed.
13. I believe
We
it was
weren't that
Santa's. I
old.
think I was.
Well, maybe I was a little bit young clearly I was younger if you were 13, but, no, I just think it was cool the links that they went through. It was like the
Yeah.
original,
Oh, that was the year
uh
we got water babies too. Do you remember those things? You filled these dolls up with water and you're like, glug, glug, glug.
I do remember those things.
And the
Oh my
little like
gosh.
white outfits they had with the roses on it. Oh,
I do remember
we
that.
had the best childhood. Mom and dad, you did all
The
right.
90s had the best toys. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, they had the best toys. Do
And
you
we
remember
didn't have all
that,
like the distractions of like video games and TV that they have now. Like it was like still toys.
yeah. I mean, I got my first Game Boy.
But we were only allowed to play that in the car. And
Yeah, that's true.
I had the Return
I
of
had a
the Jedi
Sega.
one, and I would always
I had the
play
Sega
Princess
one.
Leia.
It's
And
true. Do you remember that toy that I had? It was like a wood burning kit. Do you remember that?
kind of.
It was like it was a plastic, like, tabletop thing, and it had a wire that came out of it. It was only like this long. It was very short, and it had a metal like stick attached to it. The metal end of the stick would get like really, really hot, and then you would have like balsam board, like those were like really thin, like plywood kind of stuff, and you could like essentially like burn design like with your pen like designs
Uh-huh.
into it. But I'm like, who thought giving a child a essentially a poker that gets hot on a cord as a good toy?
They hated you. I still
Clearly,
remember the best gift of my entire life, the Barbie McDonald's.
I mean,
You
iconic,
can't beat that. Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? Thank you, Aunt
iconic,
Melissa and
absolutely.
Uncle Eric. I'm just like, in my head, that is the best gift of all time. And I
Yeah,
remember
that
it
was
had
weird.
like it was like a little stand that you could like plug the
I
McDonald's
remember.
sign into and push it.
Do you remember the Jasmine Barbie dolls? That was another big one that
Yes.
I feel like we and then the Sky Dancer things, remember? Like, you would, like they were on a stand, you would pull them, and they'd go f
Oh,
they
no,
still have
I'm
those.
thinking of the sticks with the things. But no, yeah, you'd pull them and they would fly.
Yeah, Nora has one of those, they still have those.
I feel like I got so much more excited about that stuff than what my kids do.
Really?
The Jasmine Barbie doll, I remember that. I remember playing with that for days and
She was
hours.
beautiful. I do
Yes.
remember that too.
Um,
Oh, goodness. So, yeah, so that's sort of some of my memories. Do you have any memories of us as
I remember
like, Christmas
laying under the
traditions?
mom put bells on the bottom of the tree, and I do that at my house too. I don't
I
know
do
if
too.
because if little girls or dogs are trying to get into the tree, you hear them. But I remember laying under the tree with you and looking up at all the lights, and we would
I sent you a
just.
picture of
I
Luke and
did,
Nora just doing
yeah,
that recently.
yeah.
They
I
still do
loved.
that.
I remember doing that, and I remember. Um, I remember just mom would get all the stuff out. Like she didn't care that the house was messy. She would put the tree up and she'd get like gobs of boxes out and we would just hang ornaments and you and I we would play with the nativity and we would play with the Barbie ornaments or we'd play with whatever and like
The
it didn't
Christmas
matter if it got
Village.
broken or anything like and the like how the the original like 1950s how the Grinch Stole Christmas was playing in the background. I just remember sitting at that house in Moss Creek and just like feeling so happy
Yeah.
at Christmas, like with you and with mom and like dad and just doing all the things. So I hope my kids have that when like they grow up. They're like, oh, Christmas was fun.
No, they will. I mean, you guys make it so special.
So do I mean, we all try to, but like I just I'm remembering one specific Christmas and I couldn't tell you what year, but I remember they still had the brown carpet at Moss Creek. And I remember
Mhm.
that tree in the corner by where the fish tank was and
Mhm.
like just playing with the ornaments and the nativity and like you and I were getting along and the Grinch was in the background and like that is Christmas to me.
Yeah. It's like a core memory.
Yeah. So
Yay. Yeah, it's been so like I've carried through some of those traditions. Obviously, we've adopted some of my husband's. I think the biggest change for me since marrying Chris with like our traditions is the no presents under the tree until Christmas
Santa.
Eve, which is kind of annoying, like because I have to wrap them all but still have them hidden.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a challenge, but and then going to his mom's house Christmas Eve, like we used to have the big fondue, and then we would go to late. I don't think it was quite midnight mass, but it was like late church service.
Hmm.
And then come home and it was time for bed. But for his family, they do have a big Christmas party every year on Christmas Eve. Which honestly, I enjoy that and kind of prefer that now, just because I look forward to it. I'm used to it, but I don't feel like there's anything. I feel like we're still slowly forming our own traditions because the
Well,
kids are
your
still
kids are
somewhat
so
young.
little.
Yeah. So we're slowly forming those traditions. But one thing I did start that I really enjoy doing, the kids just absolutely go crazy for, is I made these wooden advent calendars. They're big. They're like, I don't know, maybe like 2 feet high by 18 inches wide, and they're thick. They have drawers for every day. Like drawers you can pull out. They're big enough to put like a small toy, or like some of them are bigger than others, but I made those and decorated and personalized them for each kid, and like they're reusable every year. And then I fill those with like kind of a mixture of like I said, small toys, like little trinkets. Sometimes it's a piece of candy, like a chocolate coin or whatever. And they just absolutely love that. That's really special to them. So I think that's probably the biggest tradition that we've started as a family this year, or like the last couple of years, that we'll definitely keep doing as they get older.
I think that so John's family doesn't have as many Christmas traditions that Chris's does. So it's been easier for me to kind of like what we did for Christmas is what we do here. So like I wrap presents and I put them on the tree, and then of course Santa comes and his presents are unwrapped. And then we do stockings. Um, a- and as they get older, I like they're 7 now and like they still believe in Santa, but I think this might be our last year of that. And that makes me really
Oh, it's
sad in my
making me
heart.
sad.
But at the same time, it's like it's funny. It's like taking showers for kids, right? Like you bathe your babies when they're babies and like they take baths until all of a sudden they're taking showers. And it's like, I don't really remember how that happened, but it
Hmm.
just did. And it's like all of a sudden, um, I'm not giving all the good presents to Santa. Like I get to wrap some and I get credit for some of those
Hmm.
good presents. Although John, God love his soul, he bought them bikes. And he's like, "Oh, they're getting bikes from Santa." And I was like, "Okay, fine."
We we both so I stole this idea from Chris's sister, but Chris and I both collectively agree that we really um believe in this, that Santa only brings like 2 or 3 things per kid. Because, and I said I give all this credit to his sister. She's like, I don't want my kids ever going to school and being like, Santa brought me this and a this and that and this and an Xbox.
Oh,
And
well,
then there's that
Santa
one,
loves rich kids more. Totally.
yeah, there's that one kid in class that's like, well, Santa brought me 2 things.
Yeah.
Like, so Santa only brings 2 or 3 things. And like I told him, like when they write the list, like you can list 2 or 3 things in your list. That's all you can list, and Santa doesn't bring all of them. So we try to keep that to a minimum.
I
And
try
then
to
everything
talk
else
about
just comes
how
from mom and
Santa
dad.
doesn't bring everything you want. Like,
Yeah.
and like they change their minds 1,000 times. So like I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, you mailed your list. Sorry.
What was on
Um,
their list?
a bunch of those animatronic stuffed animals.
Oh yeah.
And so I got them each 2. Blair got an owl and a leopard, and I got Sloan a leopard and this dog, which I had to find
That's
secondhand.
the one you said you couldn't find.
Yeah. But I'm also gonna like the problem is it's gonna be a fight later. Like, oh, that's mine. No. Santa loves joy and sharing. We're gonna share all these
Santa
things.
loves Santa loves joy.
But so we do presents under the tree. They're like like last year was the first year I let them go. I took each of them to go pick out a gift for the other one. And so I know
Oh, that's a good tradition.
I didn't make them use their own money because, like, we're getting allowance now, and we'll get to that point, but, like, I said, "You have $25. This is what you can do." And so we went and did that at the mall. Mom took one of them, and I took one, and so they bought each other, like, the exact same thing. It's hilarious.
It's like they're twins.
Yeah. But, so we do that, and then the biggest new tradition that we started with our family is that on Christmas Eve, we open up Christmas jammies, and so
Oh,
they
nice.
don't get to open up anything else except for the jammies, and we all have matching jammies, and then we go to sleep, and then the next morning I try really hard to make them take turns how we did. Like, it makes it last longer.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
That I I like doing it 'cause I wanna be able to see them open stuff and see their
And
expression
take a
and how
break and
excited they
have
get.
breakfast and, like, sing happy
Yeah.
birthday to Jesus and all the things.
Chris Chris's family was it's just like a free for all, and that's kind of like what we've, like, adopted too, and just like, "Oh, I didn't get to see you open that. Oh, stop. Wait. I wanted to take a picture of you doing that one." So, but it's funny, both when Nora was 2 and then last year when Luke was 2. So they each did it. So it's been 2 years that this has happened. It took us 2 days to get through Christmas presents, not because we had, like, an overabundance of gifts, but because both of them at the age of 2, they would open, like, 2 or 3 things and be like, I don't wanna open it anymore, I just wanna play with what I've opened." And so we're
Yeah,
like, "Well, I'm not gonna force you to stop playing with what you're playing with, so we'll just open more tomorrow." So we had
yeah.
Christmas for, like, 2 or 3 days.
We do a lot of, like, it literally takes us all day. Like, we'll open something and, like, mom and dad will bring, like, clothes. So, obviously, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I held it up." But it also is different for us too, because we have what Santa brings, what John and I got them. Melinda and Clara tend to be here on Christmas, which is wonderful. So they have to open their stuff. They have the things from Aunt Leanne, Veronica, you guys, all these things. And then mom and dad usually get here late Christmas Day because dad works
Mhm.
the Christmas Eve service, then he goes to bed, and then they get up and they drive. And so they'll be like just finishing opening everything, about ready to go to bed. Mom and dad get here, and then it all
Ho, ho,
starts again.
ho.
And mom and dad, God love them, they're wonderful, but like they always bring so much. And so the
I know,
kids are
they're
just
very
like
generous.
so excited and ready to do all the things. But
I know. So mom and dad are coming up here in January, so I get to leave my Christmas stuff up to almost February this year.
my biggest Christmas tradition is that when mom's here, I'm like, the day after Christmas, you are not leaving this home until all this Christmas stuff is put away. I need help. Thank you.
Sure as hell I ain't not doing this by myself. So you
And
gotta
she's
help
so
me.
great. She just like just wraps things and just she's so great. It's wonderful. Dad and
The
John
house
manage the kids. Mom and I get all the Christmas stuff put away, and
the
it
house
is
always looks so depressing afterwards though.
it does, like, you get used to the lights and, like, the sparkle. I'm, like,
I
looking.
know.
John went to bed and he turned off all the lights, so I'm like, "Oh, all the Christmas stuff's
Rude.
off."
Hmm.
So,
I'm
but
sure. No, ours is probably still on. When I go back upstairs, uh Luke, my gosh, Chris is probably upstairs getting ready. I asked him, I was like, "Hey, I think we're gonna record tonight. Is that okay? Do you mind?" And he was like, "No, that actually works out well. The Bears are playing tonight." I'm like, "Oh, so you can be disappointed alone." They're just so awful. It's bad.
well, John bought so he has a buddy who has tickets to the Armed Forces Bowl, which is gonna be Oklahoma and Navy. Oklahoma for John, Navy for John. I'm like, "Who are you gonna root for?" Oklahoma is the answer, but, um,
Clearly,
I was just like he's like, "Let's go, we can get tickets." I was like, "I don't wanna go."
I don't want to do that.
I don't enjoy live sports. The last time I went to a live sporting event, I gave mom a muscle relaxer and she was like loopy and weird.
Was she
Mimi,
really?
she and I had to hang out at the house for a while. And then like we get there and all these Rutgers fans are screaming at Mimi because she's standing and yelling for Navy. And I was just like, I just want to pee in my own bathroom.
I want
I want to
I want my snacks. I want my own
I want to
bathroom.
drink my own beer. This is not fun for me.
It was not fun.
I actually told my friend Heather, I was like, leave your child with me. I will watch all the kids. I don't care. I just want to
I
be in
don't
my
want
own
to go.
house.
Give me any excuse not to go. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
That's
So,
funny. Well, that's all that I have today. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or talk about?
one other tradition that I know, I think you do and I do. Christmas ornament every year.
We actually don't. Well, we don't do that for the kids. We don't. I don't have like an ornament collection going for them. We get a family ornament every year that I like write on like the year or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we do it like we did growing up and you do with the girls.
I take them he took them to Hallmark this year to do it. And I was like, sir, that is my thing.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare. But anyway, he took them. Yeah, we go to Hallmark and they get to pick out one Hallmark ornament every year. So they have enough to start their own tree, although judging by what they pick, they will not want those things. That's their choice.
So do they have a series that they do every year like we did, or do they just pick random ones every
They're
year?
not, I don't think they're old enough quite yet to be on that level. So mostly they just go like Sloan has a Daniel Tiger one and a unicorn, and this year she got a
She's
reindeer.
gonna have the cutest tree when she's 25.
And then I have a series that I buy for them, which is like it started 3 or 4 years ago, and it's Disney princesses, but they're like ceramic Disney princesses that have their skirt and then their skirt parts, and in the middle of their skirt is the castle.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. They're all going to be destroyed by the time they leave. And like no one, it's like the Barbies. Like I love the Barbies from when we were growing up. Like I enjoy them, but like I would never put all of them on one tree.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
I'd be crazy.
It's all right. My kids, we were at Costco a couple weekends ago, and they saw a Squishmallows ornament set, and they had to have that. So we now have Squishmallows decorating our tree.
Do you remember the Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah, we love Powerpuff Girls. Nora loves them.
The girls are really obsessed with them, and Blair got the Powerpuff Girl ornament set this year. I'm like, that's from when we were little.
Yeah.
John was listening in. He was like, have you listened to this show? It's hilarious. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, they're talking about this like a psychic doing something. He's like, small, medium, because she was a midget. Small, medium, at large. And he was like, that's hilarious. This stuff is funny.
The kids will call Chris Mojo Jojo. They're like, hey, Mojo Jojo.
That's the monkey, right?
That is the monkey with the big brain. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up, shall we?
It may not be our best episode, but it's a sentimental one.
I think it's a great episode. I don't know what you were talking about.
I think your sweater is great.
Thanks. It's my ugly Christmas sweater. It's got little like puffballs on it. So Chris picked Luke up today, and I got him out of the car, and he goes, "Mommy, I like your pretty shirt," and then proceeds to like start trying to pick them off. I'm like, "Don't destroy it.
Stop it. Hand pop.
Stop it." All right. Well, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in this week to talk about just Christmas traditions. Leave us a comment below and let us know what some of your favorite Christmas traditions are. Either, just traditional ones, or I personally would love to hear what your unhinged Christmas traditions are, because I think those are fun. But before you go, we are on social media. I took some of my own advice last week, and I actually updated our TikTok handle to match our Instagram and YouTube. So we are all the same now. I feel like that's easier. So we are at ChitChatCheersPodcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So if you would rather watch this, the recording of this, we have that posted to our YouTube channel. Although as I say that, I don't think I posted the last episode. So if you are a YouTube follower, you will get twosies.
Dose.
Yeah, go give us a like, give us a follow, rate, review, and subscribe this podcast on wherever you get your podcasts, but probably mostly either Spotify or Apple Podcast. It's really exciting when we get a comment or we get another listener. So definitely do that. And downloading, I'm learning quickly, is what you need to do. So you can stream the episode, but it counts better for like numbers and stuff if you actually download the episode. So if you are so inclined, do that as well.
She's not asking, she's telling. Download,
I'm telling,
please.
I'm not asking. Or my Or at least his demon elves will come after you.
There are 4. I'm going to bring them out for the next episode. I'm going to find them in the attic. I may have hidden them in places I can't even find them. And John reorganized the attic. It looks marvelous, but I can find nothing. So
Maybe he knows what they are. Maybe he burned them. He took them out to a ditch and buried them. We love you, Mimi, but those are creepy elves.
all 2 things can be true. We love you and they were creepy.
Let's hold space for that, as they say. The kids
Love
say.
you.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a very, very happy Merry Christmas surrounded by the ones that you love. And we will
And no
probably
Krampus.
and no Krampus. Keep that Krampus away. But I'm guessing time this is posted and recorded, no one. We will see you guys in the new year, 2025.
This is crazy.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.